G'day everyone, welcome back to Mighty 90 Games. Picking up today with episode 3 of the Elspeth Von Draken Beginner's Guide. We are currently facing 3 armies of vampire counts. I left this battle here last time because I figured I wasn't going to have enough time to do it, and I would have been right about that. So, let's jump straight in. So, because we're fighting a hugely overwhelming number here, I'm going to break it up and lightning strike it. Mainly because we don't have a really great army for taking on vastly overwhelming numbers. We still need to be able to protect our artillery. We still need to be able to protect our gunners, and we've only got 6 melee infantry units, so it's not exactly like we're drowning in stuff to hold up, you know, two and a half stacks of vampire counts all at once. So that's why we're going to lightning strike. Now the downside of lightning strike is that, just tweak the sound there. The downside of lightning strike is that our troops will be a little bit more tired. They'll get tired more quickly. But the upside is that we can fight one army instead of 3 at once. So a good trade-off in this case, I think. Lightning strike is one of those skills I'd always rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. There are a few factions and a few lords for whom lightning strike is pretty redundant. Like Skaven is a good example, because their ambush mechanic lets them just like roll up and ambush armies right out in the open, and when you ambush an army out of a stack of armies, you only ambush the one army, so you effectively lightning strike them anyway by ambushing them. So for something like Skaven, for example, lightning strike possibly not the most important thing in the whole world. I usually still get it though, because it's on the way to other talent points that I do want. For like one-man armies or one-woman armies, depending on what character you're playing, lightning strike can be not that useful. So, for example, as Scarbrand, if you're running Scarbrand by himself as a single army, just all by himself, which is very, very doable, it's actually better to have more enemies to fight, because the more enemies there are on the battlefield, the more they blob up, the more his AoE damage effects take health off them, because there's just more stuff there for them to deal damage to. Same with things like running Miao Ying or Zhao Ming as a single model army. Or Balthazar Gelt's wizard stack. If you're counting on your opponent blobbing up so that you can do mass damage to them, then lightning strike is not always the best call, because you reduce the amount of enemies on the field. I should do a Balthazar video. Balthazar's broke. Like, he is so crazy. He is such a powerful lord. You get infinite winds of magic with him and just keep casting forever. It's like, yeah, way to have 11 guys wearing dresses take over the entire planet. Oh my god, that was a bad friendly fire. What do you think you're firing at, brother? Jeez. My god. Yeah, okay, I thought they were going to be safe there. That's right. That's what I was saying about the Hellstorm rocket batteries. Jesus crikey, Moses. That was a good one. Thanks, guys. Appreciate yous. Absolute drongos. Mind you, that was probably my fault for not telling them what to shoot at, to be honest with you. That's alright. As I said, the whole point of this campaign was to show you guys what it's like when you're not playing a super ridiculous, overpowered character of death right from the get-go. Yep. Yeah, got a vampire lord into the gunners there. That's not going to be a lot of fun. That's alright. His army is nearly kaput, which means he'll just start crumbling. So that's actually fine. Hey, stop doing that. Chuck another spell at him. Oop, wrong button. I right-clicked instead of left-click because I've been playing a different game. Oop. Now, Elspeth has got regen, so it doesn't really matter too much if she takes some damage, because she can just run away and heal it, and then she'll be fine. Alright, the Knights of the Black Rose charge in there. They're doing a magnificent job. Spearman unit's doing a magnificent job of tanking that Banshee. Crypt Horrors, that's not good. That's alright, we got 2 units of melee here, that's fine. Man, why is this vampire lord just able to break away from my units and run around unimpeded? I've thrown like 3 units at him to tank him, and he's just able to ignore them and walk off, apparently. It's a bit annoying. That's not a thing that often happens, to be honest. Usually, if you get something into Tank a Lord like that, they'll just kind of stay tanked. Especially if they're kicking the crap out of it, which he definitely was with our melee infantry. On the other hand, these ghouls, these crypt horrors, have done absolutely no damage whatsoever to our, like, barely done any damage to our Hellstorm rocket battery. This is a weird old game. Weird old game. Alright, the Banshee's just kind of standing there doing nothing. Oh yeah, cannon's in a bad way, that's right. Hellstorm's gonna right. Them to back off over there. Elspeth's still healing, that's good. Come on, you big dope, just die already. Don't have the ability to overcast. So when you overcast Spirit Leech, it actually has a muchly increased range. The downside of overcasting is that it has a muchly increased mana cost and a muchly increased cooldown. That's alright. If you need to, sometimes if you really want to chuck a spell, if you need to hit something that's running away or whatever, then you can overcast Spirit Leech, but I don't have the teleport in there yet. Yeah, close victory, whatever. Ugh. Yeah, so we probably should have predicted the artillery there a little bit better, but oh well. Like I said, I'm kind of playing this one with the intent of kind of showing you how to recover when things don't go so well, which is partly why I picked the Empire, because they do tend to take quite a bit of damage. It's pretty hard, early game especially, to pull off like 0 loss wins with the Empire. Well, with Elspeth and Karl and Volkmar, the other guy. Balthazar, you can do it. But he's a bit OP. Yeah, I'll take the replenishment off that. That seems like a good idea. Yep, the survivors will run away. That's okay. Barely anything survived that. Strigoi did, of course. The bastard. What's in that army? Yeah, it's not particularly pleasant. Alright, let's go over here, and we will grab... What do I want next for Elspeth? I'll start going down her magic tree, I reckon. What do I want with him? Oh, yep, I'll take Mercurial Shot. Can't remember if I explained Mercurial Shot in the last video or not, but it's a quite effective magic missile. Do I want to roll that? There's a lot of trash in that army. There's nothing left of that army. Oh, he's got another army right there and another army right there. Yeah, no, let's definitely not auto-roll that. In fact, we don't even have a hell of a lot of movement range left. Alright, we're going to roll that. And then, we're just going to sack it. I'm going to back off this way as much as we can, which probably isn't a whole lot, but at least a little bit. And then over here, start getting some reinforcements ready for the fight against Vlad. No, I don't really want mortars. What do I want instead? A bit mortars. Got some more handgunners, that'll be useful. Grab a couple of knights and more, that'll also be useful. Now, we'll upgrade that, because that will get us along toward Ulrika Magdova. And that'll be about all our spending money for this turn. Is there anything I can do over here? No. Maybe like what? Yeah, 13 bloody schematic short. Sounds about right. Now I will go the second point in that, so I can overcast it if I need to, and it'll be a bit cheaper anyway, and I'll get that. So life leeching is really good because it gives you back a portion of the magic that you spend on this thing. So I think it gives you back like 2.4 magic or 2.6 magic or something. So yeah, it basically means that you get a small refund of magic when you cast that spell. Spirit Leech, or any spell really, but Spirit Leech is the one you can get to be super duper cheap, especially if you are playing as Balthazar. Elspeth can't get it as cheap as Balthazar, I don't think. She can get close, but not quite as good. But Balthazar doesn't have all the fancy stuff with the gunnery school, so I guess that balances out. Alright, let's see how badly this is going to bite me in the butt this turn. If he comes tearing over there with all of that, we'll retreat, back off, and then hopefully they'll just stand there in a big pile looking stupid, and we can lightning strike them one at a time. That was weird. He just like disappeared. Ah, there he is. Went out of our vision range. Okay, no, they're not doing that. Alright. So plan B is to get Elspeth to back off across this little bridge here and try and bait Vlad into an ambush. Ideally, we want to just try and auto-roll Vlad, because he is an absolute nightmare to deal with on the field. He will already be at turn 20. Let's have a look what he's up to. Yeah, so turn 20, he's already level 21. He's already got 2 of his unique items. He's got Isabella in the army as well as the Shadow Vampire that he starts with. So they'll probably be nice and high level as well. A crap load of Crypt Horrors. You'll probably have at least 1 unit of Blood Knights in there somewhere. If you don't know what Blood Knights are, they are heavy regenerating vampire cavalry, and they are quite something to behold. One of my favourite units, both aesthetically and in terms of their performance. I really, really like Blood Knights. They're very, very cool. So, what we're going to try and do here, I can't remember if I said this in the last video or not, but it's always against Vlad this early game, especially when he's coming along like this with, like, now it is possible that like someone will hand him a defeat early on in the game and he'll lose his really good units and he might not be able to replenish them, and he'll often not embed Isabella back into his army, which is, I don't know why the AI does that, because it's actively to their detriment, but whatever, it happens anyway. That hasn't been the case here, and he's gotten up a hell of a lot of steam already. So we are not going to be able to fight him on equal terms. We're going to have to turn this into a bit of a guerrilla war, really. We're going to have to hit and run, and we're going to have to try and lure him into territory that is favourable for us. So primarily at the moment, that's going to be in and around Nuln, where we can go into ambush stance without getting burnt by vampiric corruption. And if he comes into our territory, he starts getting burnt by the lack of vampiric corruption. Now, if we can get him at a good choke point, or if we can get him at a good ambush, pretty much exactly not like that, then isolating him should be good enough. So what we're going to need to do, what we have to avoid doing, is going in here all guns blazing and picking a city and standing on it, and then having him counter-attacking and absolutely wrecking us. So it's going to be really important that we keep our scout out here to see what's going on. And so this is exactly what he's doing. He's pulled back here. The AI wants us to come in and take Flensburg so that they can go bang, 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 and put us down with all 3 armies, and then just steamroll in here and take all our stuff, and that's going to be game over. So we're not going to let them do that. We are not going to play into their plan. What we are going to do is put this guy in camp stance, and we're going to bring him over into Vlad's territory so that he's not taking in. He's not going to be taking any attritional damage because he's in that encamp stance. In fact, let's try and piss Vlad off a little bit more, and we'll go one step further and even put him in raid stance. Now, the chaos corruption in here is super duper high, so Elspeth won't take vampiric attrition, but she will take chaos attrition. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave Elspeth back here for this turn, and maybe for the next turn as well, until she's properly healed up. And we're just going to have this guy raid around and try and really piss Vlad off. And what I hope happens, is Vlad sends something back over here, and then we go bang, bang, and we jump them. Or perhaps he splits something off down here to come for the less defended Fyldorf, which reminds me, we can recruit a battle wizard here. And I want a life wizard. I want a healer in that army, Elspeth's army. What do I want? Knowledgeable? That is pretty damn good. Extra 75% experience gain for the character and 15% extra magic item drop chance. Yeah, 8 melee defense and 10 hit points. That wins for me. That means that the caster itself is going to be tougher and hard to put down, so it means we can actually use it as a tank as well. Cool. Now, what we're going to be doing also while we've got... I'll take a tough captain as well. While we've got Elspeth sitting back here replenishing, we're going to use this opportunity to trim some of the fat off her army and make it a bit of a harder force. So the first thing that's going to get ditched are those half-dead swordsmen. Swordsmen are probably the least of the Empire infantry. They have no special rules whatsoever. Even basic spearmen without shields still have that anti-large ability. Whereas you have a look here... where can I show you? Yeah, like here. So we go in here and have a look. The basic spearmen, the basic swordmen are literally just shielded. They're pretty useless. I mean, we started the game with some, and it's like they're not so useless that like I was just going to dismiss them out of hand, but they are useless enough that they're going to be my absolute first priority for replacing. Now, we don't have tons of cash, so let's just spin on from there. Now, remember, this is only 21 turns in, and not all campaigns are created equal in this game, especially when you are playing on Legendary mode. Elspeth's only real hurdle, to be honest, is Vlad. Right? Because of the positioning, it's usually the way it goes that Vlad will come through you, or attempt to come through you, to get to everybody else. Right? If you're playing as Carl, you've got Elspeth as a buffer zone. If you're playing as Elspeth, you usually will get a face full of Vlad in the first 30 turns on any mode, and within the first 15 or 20 on Legendary mode. And it's really Elspeth's first only massive hurdle, unless something unfortunate happens in your campaign. Like, for example, Festus manages to absolutely roll the Empire and comes down here and joins in the fight against you with Vlad. Or Arbol manages to make it all the way over here through Kislev, through the Wood Elves, and into you there. Or for some reason, Dryka has an absolute spaz attack at you and decides to declare war on you out of nowhere. Or you don't manage to get these Wood Elves on side and they come at you. But 9 times out of 10, your biggest and only major challenge in the Elspeth campaign is going to be dealing with Vlad. Which, as you can see, we're dealing with here. So, we need to get rid of the Changeling, because he's the one that's cranking the Tzinch corruption in this province so high. He needs to go. Because then we can start to take over this territory and we can start to have it be restored and not take any attritional damage of any kind. So Vlad's down to an army in a bit there. I'm going to cruise in with Elspeth and I'm going to cruise in with Rupert. And we are going to double stack this guy here just so that we can roll that for a nice easy one. I'm pretty sure it's a pretty trash army. We don't need to bother fighting that. Thank you very much. And this time, we will actually occupy it. Now, Elspeth's going to take a little bit of attritional damage probably over this end turn, but that's okay. We can live with that. She may not need to. Let me just double check. No, okay, she's not going to need to. She can just stay right there. That's fantastic. Do I want to risk putting him in ambush? I think I do. Yeah, I think I do. It's going to make him a little bit more damaged, but if we could pull off a coup here and have Vlad come marching over here all piss and vinegar to take that settlement back off us and get done in an ambush, that would be well worth paying a little bit of attritional damage for. Now, in terms of other Law of Death spells, I don't really rate the aspect of the Dread Knight that much. There's lots of things in the game that you can use to give things fear and terror, which is what that does. And it only says can cause terror and can cause fear. It does also give magical attacks, but Elspeth's already got them. So what I like to take in the Law of Death, after grabbing Spirit Leech and Life Leeching to unlock this next tree, I like to get Soul Blight. It's an AoE debuff. Let me show you what it actually does. Come on. It's an AoE debuff that reduces weapon damage, armor piercing damage, and armor for all enemies in the hex radius. I also like to take Doom and Darkness. That's another AoE debuff that drops the leadership of the enemies in the radius. Now, if you single target Doom and Darkness, you can only affect one enemy at a time. If you overcast Doom and Darkness, you can affect a whole radius of enemies. So usually what I do is I grab 1 point in Soul Blight, because that's already an AoE spell, and then I grab 2 points in Doom and Darkness. That's the 4 points spent in the first part of the tree, and that then unlocks the next part of the tree. Having to spend 4 points in that first part to unlock the second part is a pretty universal thing in Warhammer. There are some exceptions, as always. Down here, you generally have to spend 6 points in this tree to unlock that tree. Likewise down here. Again, there are always a few exceptions scattered around the joint, but mostly it's 4 for spells and 6 for other skills. Right, now we've managed to drop some of the redundant units out of Elspeth's army, so we can go and park our newly minted Tough Empire Captain in there. and then we can pick up our newly minted tough life wizard next turn to jump in that army, and then she's got a full army again. And the 2 extra characters are a lot stronger on the roster than the 2 swordsmen that I got rid of. Alright, now I'm just going to check Vlad's strength ranking. Okay, so he's still a bit stronger than us. So it's very likely that he's going to have another army or 2 somewhere back here. Or at least some more lords. Yeah, so there's a lord sitting in there. Can't tell how much of an army it has really. We can have a look at the military presence. 4. Okay, so it doesn't have a lot of military presence in there. So that means that it's probably a pretty small army at this stage. But vampire counts can and do rip whole armies out of the ground instantaneously with their raise dead mechanic. So what is a single lord sitting there one turn can be a full army full of high tier units the next turn. Vampire counts are a bastard to fight. They really, really are. Your best bet, try and put them down as quickly as you possibly can. But, that said, they also have a tendency to massively overpower you in terms of numbers. So you very often have to turn it into a kind of a long war of attrition with them. You have to bleed them out as much as you can, strip out their treasury so that they can't afford to rip those armies out of the ground every turn, and then move into the kill once they're reduced to like crappy tier 1, tier 2 units. Once Vlad starts coming at you, well, any of the vampire counts really, with the notable exception of the zombie guy whose name I can't remember. The Caravan of the Blue Roses guy. If he comes at you with a stack full of zombies, be afraid. If any other vampire count comes at you with a stack full of zombies, you know you've probably got them on the back foot. Okay, so Vlad's starting to look a little bit desperate here. He has he's split his own army off from those other 2, and that's like a really dumb decision that he's made, because that's then isolated him in that city up there of Wurtbad and left these 2 idiots standing around doing absolutely sweet FA. Meanwhile, is Aveland still at war with them? Yes, yes they are. We could confederate Aveland and take that city, and it would be absorbed into our empire, but I don't see the point right now. Because we probably couldn't afford, or we definitely couldn't afford, to keep that army. We'd have to get rid of it. So while he's paying for it and using it to do what we want him to do anyway, which is fight vampire counts, there's no point in us confederating, and we get stuff all out of it anyway. We get 1 minor settlement that the vampire counts could be on top of in a single turn. And once we'd confederated them, our income would implode, and we would have no means of paying that army. So at the moment, confederation is not the smart bet with that faction. As you can see, moving out of the region adjacent to that building in the Gardens of Moor already puts us in the negatives, because they've moved out of range of the upkeep reduction by 25%, and it's about to get a whole lot worse, because I'm going to take Elspeth out of the region as well. But it is totally worth it to be able to bitch slap Vlad down this turn. Oh, a valiant defeat. Really? Are you kidding? That's alright. This is definitely not going to be a valiant defeat. We will absolutely slap the boy howdy out of these guys. I'd like a little bit more in terms of the Winds of Magic. 85's not heaps, but that's alright. Let me just have a quick sticky beak, make sure there's no items I've missed that I could equip to make this a bit easier. Yep, like the Armour of Fortune, that's a really good example of exactly what I was talking about, which means that he can now have that enchanted shield. So that's going to be pretty handy. The Potion of Foolhardiness is a useless piece of crap. I'm not going to bother taking that. As I said, I'll wait until I've got some other useless piece of crap grey item, and then I'll fuse them and hopefully come up with something better. Watch me get a Crown of Command. Alright, now. Yep, that's about all I can do. That's all I can do there. Alright, let's get into this. Now, it says that it's going to be a valiant defeat, but don't bloody listen to the AI. It doesn't know what the hell it's talking about. I'll save this just in case, because I've been having a few crashes lately. Especially on load screens, like it just kind of locks up, and then like I have to just reload the game, and it's fine, like it reloads the second time, no worries. But yeah, I've just had a couple of crashes on load screens into battles in the last couple of days. I've been playing around with the new Slaneshi stuff, given it a really good go. The first time I had a look, I briefly had a play of Nikari, and I was like, oh yeah, everything's pretty much the same. So yeah, I'm trying out the new ones, Drakala, and then I'm going to play, I can't remember what the other one's called, the Mask of Slanesh. Yep, not to be confused with the Mask of Jim Carrey. Alright, this city I always attack the same way because I'm a bit OCD like that. But I've also worked out a really good way of attacking it, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So this city's got a honking huge blind spot right here. Alright, you park out here and there is absolutely no towers on that stretch of wall. I don't know why there's no towers on that bit of wall. But there aren't. And so that being the case, I'm going to exploit the shit out of it. So I'm going to park all my units back here. I'm going to give them... Oh yeah, Elspeth's got her dragon in Carmine. I love this thing. It makes her a huge target, and I very often take her off it because I get so sick of her getting shot to death while she's flying around on the bastard. But that is not to suggest that it doesn't look really friggin' cool. Yeah, that is an absolute badass. Yeah, it's one downside about playing this game on Legendary, to be honest with you, is it really reduces your opportunity to just, like, stop and smell the roses, and there are a lot of roses in this game to be smelt. It is a beautiful game. They have rendered everything in such loving detail. Like, yeah, I know that they've not always done the right thing by the player base, and that they have released some pretty shonky-ass bits and pieces for this game. But man, the bits they've got right, they really have gotten right, I gotta say. As a long-time fan of the hobby, it does really feel like my games come to the computer in, yep, pretty loving detail. I hope 40k is good, I really do. I really hope it is. It would be a crying shame if they cooked up Total War 40k after so long. Okay, so that's a big spell of Vlad's, and Isabella can get it too. I actually don't know which one of them used it on me. Probably Vlad, because he's closer. There's FA you can do about it. You can't dodge it, you can't stop it. You just got to wear it. Now, Vlad's got a lot of regen, so chucking a Spirit Leech at him is actually a very pointless endeavour. I've only done that to try and get him to back the hell away and stop throwing spells, and it seems to have worked. He doesn't like being Spirit Leeched, and he just tends to bugger off. Now, for some reason, the artillery has decided to stop shooting at what I've told it to shoot at, and just decided to shoot at whatever it feels like shooting at. So I'm going to tell it to bloody shoot that wall. So the idea in a siege like this is you want to try and make a nice big gap in. You want to try and make a big gap in the wall so that you can then get your gunpowder units up to just spray hell through the gap, and have a tough character or two that you can stick through the gap, and they can tank there. And yeah, just have the rest of your gunpowder units roll up and just, yeah, blast the shit out of them. Works really well. And we've got quite a few gunpowder units here. There you go, walls are breached. Good, about bloody time. Would have been done a lot faster if you'd not gotten bored and started shooting at random shit. Alright, let's rumble. So we'll get the Empire Captain and the Empire Lord. I'll have the Engineer chill out at the back here because he's got 4 uses of restock, so we're going to get a hell of a lot of shots out of our artillery. I'll probably use most of the restocks on the, if not all of the restocks, on the Hellstorm. Oh wait, do these guys? Oh my god, yeah, sweet. I forgot we got that already. So yeah, the Outriders and the Handgunners also have 2 uses of restock each. So we've got more artillery ammo than we can bloody shake a stick at. So, that being the case, brief change of plans, in that I'm actually just going to start bombing the crap out of anything that's sitting up on the walls. Because it does do damage to the walls as well, because not every shot actually hits. As you can see, some of them are overshooting, but that's okay. That's a unit of Graveguard sitting up there. They're very tough vampire infantry, so getting rid of them will be good. I'm also hoping to goad some of Vlad's flying units into coming after Elspeth, so that I can then fly Elspeth back over the wall and have the Handgunners do their thing. So I should probably actually put them in position, eh? That'd be a good idea. Yeah, there's that big swirly thing of destiny. Again, it doesn't do a lot of damage, to be honest, and Elspeth does have regen, so it's going to be of limited use against us. But it can really mess up non-character flying units, especially if they're multiple models. Yeah, single models, yeah, it doesn't seem to do a hell of a lot of damage to. But yeah, I've had it really screw up things like Pegasus Knights, big time. Okay, something's taken the bait. Wasn't the flying units, but that's alright. It's still something. Alright, the artillery shooting that wall because it's nearly dead. I'll blast a hole in that. Elspeth to rear charge there. Bang, bang. Cool. And she can just cruise on through. That bit of the wall's down. Cool, got some flying units coming in. That's what we wanted. Yep, just let the handgunners blast the absolute bejesus out of those guys. Oop. Alright, we got a character coming in here. Hit her with a Spirit Leech. And then I will manually target her with every gun that I have. Everyone shoot at that vampire, please. Yeah, I'll just get Elspeth to kite it around a bit. Do her best not to get shot. I will re-target the artillery so they don't get any bright ideas about bombing that vampire and shooting our guys. Redeploy the handgunners so they're not firing into each other like the bloody killbots from Futurama. And we'll hit it with another Spirit Leech. As you can see, I tend to, fast forward a lot in this game. Which is why I do stupid shit like let monsters charge my artillery. Honestly, that never happens when I'm playing by myself. But I think it's also because I'm a bit less distracted, because when I'm playing by myself, I'm not constantly talking. So that's alright, because if I won everything flawlessly every time, it would be pretty boring for you guys. So. Always fun to watch someone take a bit of a battering in a game and have to claw their way back up again. So I'm not going to waste any magic on Vlad, because he's just going to regen it. It's a pointless effort. I'll just keep him running around. I don't think he's actually... Geez, actually, I probably should have checked that at the start of the game if he was unbreakable. Nah, he's not unbreakable. So all we got to do is just wipe out enough of his army and he'll just crumble. And that is a way easier way of dealing with him than trying to fight him. Oh, okay, the Hellstorm is out of ammo. Let's fix that. There we go. Back on your artillery. Now, ideally, you want to try and use restock on them before they run out of ammo. Because when they run out of ammo, they drop their artillery. And then you've got to tell them to get back on the artillery. And it's just, takes a bit longer than if they didn't drop their artillery in the first place. How are the mortars doing? Right now, that one's impeded. Yeah, they're not doing enough damage that I am going to use a restock on them. I'm going to save all the restocks, I think, for the Hellstorm. Because that's, getting a ton of kills. Whoa, what the hell got stuck into Elspeth? Holy bejesus. That's what I get for not paying attention. Vargeists. Yep, they're pretty nasty. That's alright, she's got regen, it's all good, it's all good. But yeah, do try and keep an eye on your characters, because stuff like that can and does happen. Ooh, there's Isabella. Alright. Contrary to what I was saying earlier, Elspeth's totally good for another fight. Let's go. Ah, she's running. Come back here, you chicken. Alright, I'm going to overcast that. Just so I can actually catch her. Yeah, either run all the way off, or come out and face me and get shot. Don't just do that fly back and forth thing, it's annoying. Alright. Old mate here's got the regen banner, so he's going to be our primary tank in this wall breach fight. Where's my engineer? There he is. Restock the ammo on the Hellstorm again, and just let it go completely bananas. Yeah, it's a pretty sight. I do like me a good Hellstorm rocket battery. One of my favourite things to do late game is to have an engineer lord with another engineer. So that's 8 uses of restock. Sorry, maths bad. Yeah, so I like to have an engineer lord and an engineer hero leading 18 Hellstorm rocket batteries, and they are the second army, and then the first army is like a normal balanced army, just minus any artillery. And so you start the game with, you'd lead the attack with the engineer hero, so I guess it's actually your first army. So you start the attack with the Hellstorm stack, and while you're waiting for your reinforcements to show up, you just absolutely carpet bomb the map. It's not always even the most effective way of playing Empire, but it just looks so specky that I love it. So I tend to try and set up fights where it's going to be useful, because it's just fun to watch. So yeah, you definitely do not need to play this game on the super hard difficulties to enjoy it. The only reason I'm playing it on the super hards here is just to show you, if this stuff works on Legendary, it's probably going to work on, any mode that's not Legendary. slash very hard battle difficulty, because there is no legendary battle difficulty. Legendary battle difficulty is basically very hard battle difficulty with all of the AI stat modifiers turned up to max, like I'm playing now. So, but it is annoying at times, because I feel like it really does cut down on my enjoyment of just the ambience and the look and the feel of the game. It reduces your ability, like you can't pause it, for example. I can't run it on slow motion and like zoom in and watch an epic duel between two characters. I've always got to be keeping an eye out, making sure I'm micromanaging, making sure that my characters aren't getting randomly jumped like Elspeth did before. And why is she not regenerating, please? Is her regen thing only work in combat, maybe, or something? Can't really remember, to be honest with you. Been a while since I've played her. I thought it worked everywhere. Well, maybe I didn't take the talent point yet. Maybe I was confusing having the banner with having... Yeah, no, I think that must have been it. I've confused having her passive regen with having the regen banner. That's what I've done, because she also gets a regen talent point. I don't think we do have that. It doesn't look like we do have that yet, but we do have the banner, which I've given to El Capitan here. That's alright. She's still got the talisman thingy, this thing, Seed of Rebirth. So as long as she's in melee, which obviously she's not at the moment, but yeah, when she's in melee, she'll be regenerating her health. Alright, there's going to be a unit of Crypt Horrors eagerly running to their death. I'm going to move the Hellstorm Rocket Bat Trap a little bit, just so that it's got a bit more range, and we get our Engineer a bit closer as well, bring them up so that the restocks are in range. We will very likely not need to employ much, if any, of the melee stuff in this game, because we should just be able to sit back here and happily keep shooting the hell out of them until they give up and go home. Now, if this is not your way of playing the game, that's totally fine, but this is totally how I play in the tabletop as well. I was a big fan of shooting armies. Come on, Elspeth. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh, geez, she's running. Okay, that didn't take long. Far out. Alright, maybe I won't try and use her to bait out Isabella after all then. Wonder what level is it? Man, Isabella must be pretty high level as well. No rocket batteries, don't shoot Vlad, you idiots. It's a bloody waste of ammo, mate. Stop being so stupid. Alright, let's get this guy back into the breach. Maybe we can goad someone into attacking him instead. That would be rather helpful. Alright, restock the ammo on them again. That's the Engineer's last restock, so he can come up now and start shooting through the walls. There probably won't be a lot of great opportunities in a city battle to use Mercurial Shot, because you kind of want to use it at the side or the back of a unit. Like, if you fire it head-on into a unit, like if this was an enemy unit right here, right, you'd firing it head-on like that, it's not going to do as much damage as firing it a long ways like that. The more models you can stick in the way of it, the better. Oh, we might have an opportunity here. This might just be the opportunity we were looking for. Come on. Come on. Just going to try and bait Vlad out through that big old hole in his walls. Because if there's one thing in this, if there's one thing that we can do to reliably kill Vlad this battle, it's gun him down. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes. Yes. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get him. Put him down, put him down. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Kill him. I can kill him. Come on. Make his undead ass dead ass. Yes. Excellent. Okay, cool. So if you do have to take on Vlad head to head, and you can't just make him crumble for whatever reason, that is how you do it. Goad him into a kill box and just lay him out before his regen can take over. And for the love of all that is sacred, do not let him get into your troops. Whoops. And definitely don't let him get into your characters. He's one of the primary duelists in the game. He will fuck up your characters so fast you won't even know what happened. He is an absolute nightmare. However, nothing that a whole bunch of really determined handgunners with a free open field of fire can't deal with, as it turns out. That was very, very fortunate that he took that bait and came out the wall like that. It was good. Fortune or skill, you decide. Now, Mercurial Shot's not the best thing in the whole world to use against something like Crypt Horrors. That being said, that was a fucking awesome shot. Good job, boyo. Got a bit of a cooldown on it, so we'll back up. Actually, no, we won't. We'll go and use that other one that comes from the specky item that he's got. I always forget that he's got that. Come on. Because that's an Elspeth only thing. Whereas Mercurial Shot is any Empire Engineer thing. Yeah, we'll let the artillery keep blasting away. Take down them Crypt Horrors. Get those handguns out of the way because they're out of ammo. Give these guys a bit of a better field of fire. Like, there's just even little things, like the way that the gate's destroyed, so it's like all janky and broken there. Like, oh, it's just the nice stuff. The masonry that falls off the walls when a siege artillery piece hits it with something. Just, yeah, really, really gorgeously detailed game. I love how much thought and time and care they put into the design of it. I know that execution of it hasn't always been great, but I really cannot fault their design. It looks the part, 110%. Feels the part, sounds the part, 100%. So I know a lot of people hate sieges, and like, objectively speaking, I know that this is boring. In terms of like what this game has to offer, but I enjoy these battles because it really does give me a chance to just look at stuff and listen to the voice acting and just watch my field artillery shoot, and yep, just all that good stuff. Blam! It's just really satisfying to watch, and I very, very seldom get the opportunity to do stuff like this, because yeah, a lot of this game's just like absolute frantic go all the time, which I love about it. But yeah, playing on the harder modes really does, yeah, remove your ability a lot of the time to just stop and smell the roses. So a nice procedural battle like this is actually a bit of a nice circuit breaker for me. I quite enjoy them. I mean, if I have to do, 20 in a row, like, yeah, okay, obviously it's going to wear thin. But for something like this, where the game was like, there's no way that you can win this, not only is it satisfying to be able to do so, but it's pretty satisfying to be able to do so without expending any particular effort. And just, yeah, it's just nice to watch. Satisfying to know that Vlad's corpse is out there. Where is it? Did we find it, or did he crumble? I think he may have crumbled. Or is that him there? Yeah, that's him. You loser. That's really satisfying. I'm going to screenshot that. I'm going to use that for the thumbnail for the video. Yeah. So if the mic just cut out there, it's just because I used the snipping tool to take a screenshot of Vlad's corpse. I'm going to use that as the thumbnail for the video. You dead bastard. Classic. And so in like a full-on hardcore battle, I simply would not have had time to go and find his body and laugh at it. And so yeah, I do apologize if this is a little bit boring for you, but this is fun for me, and it's my channel, so I'm going to do it every so often. If you don't like it, please skip ahead and tell me what an idiot I am for doing it in the comments, by all means. You've seen I won't do it often. I do try and be as respectful of your time as possible, but I am actually having a blast playing this. Especially like it was a bit of a day at work. It was really damn hot today. Love my job, love what I do. It wasn't a bad day at work. It was just like a really hot cooker of a day today. And yeah, it was a bit punishing, and I'm a bit brain fried, to be perfectly honest with you. So being able to come here and slap around the AI is actually doing me a wonder this afternoon. I feel like $1 million doing this. So thank you for taking the time to watch. I will speed it up though, because this is getting a bit long. Alright, so they're getting pretty pissed off. Isabella's come over the wall. She's a decent combatant, don't get me wrong. She's not Vlad, but she's not far off. Yeah, they sent the bats out now. They're getting desperate. They are getting desperate. Because yeah, Fellbats are not exactly their premier combatants. Just make sure that we keep that Hellstorm rocket battery from doing anything stupid, like trying to launch a volley at the bats that are attacking our spearmen and gunners, and end up killing most of the gunners. Yeah, we don't need anything like that right now. Thank you very kindly. Let's get her... No, actually I won't overcast that. I'll just regular cast that. Come on. Come on. So yeah, Isabella can be more difficult to deal with Vlad. She's nowhere near as tough as him. And she doesn't have quite as much damage output, but she is faster once she gets on her flyer. And obviously, she can fly once she's on her flyer. So she's got access to pathing options that Vlad does not. So yeah, they can both really mess up your day. And they very often, as I said, you'll find them in the one army. No, there we go, they're gone. See ya. Yeah, nice knowing you. Just gotta wait for the rest of them to crumble. I said crumble, you bastards. Look at the Hellstorm rocket battery still going strong. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be a close victory because we expended pretty much all of our ammunition. 938 kills on the Hellstorm rocket battery, though, high. Yep, I'll take that with a side of chili fries. No worries. So, yeah, that's how you turn a valiant defeat into a go and boil your head, you stupid vampire bastard. So yeah, there we go. We've absolutely destroyed Vlad's opening army. So we put down Isabella, put down his other hero. She won't be immortal yet, I don't think. No, Isabella will be, sorry. Emmanuel Posner, or whatever her name is. I don't think she'll be immortal yet, so that should be her put to pay, definitely. And because they were trapped inside the city, they don't have the option of doing that vampire count, haha, we came back to life thing. Which is great, because then we don't have to worry about Vlad standing right there. Now, what we do have to worry about is the fact that he respawns in one turn. So he'll be back next turn, and they just wounded our bloody life wizard, the bastards. He'll be back, but it's like going to delay him being in our army by, well, what, the 5 turns that he needs to respawn, and then however long it takes him to walk back to Elspeth. Oh, that's annoying. That's okay, that's alright. We'll just chuck like a placeholder in there for now. What was it? It was a wizard, so that was like going to be a bit of a tank, going to be a bit of a healer. So we'll just chuck in something else that we can use to just soak up some damage with. I'll just take those Regiment of Renowned Spearmen for now, and as soon as that life wizard's back on deck, we'll just chuck them and put him in place of those Regiments of Renowned Spears. All right. Now, next part of the plan will depend on what happens over the end turn. But if the Changeling is still just standing there next turn, I'm going to smash him in the head before we move on. Because I don't want him running around behind us, spreading bloody Tzeentch corruption like a jerk. I would like him actually out of the way, please. He's a weird old faction as well. Like, once we've beaten that initial army of his, we can pretty much just ignore him. They're a weird faction, they really are. Vanguard deployment for Chariot and War Machine units. Oh yeah, sounds like a bit of alright. 2 points in training, and I'll grab hard to hit. I like my characters to have a lot of melee, well, as much melee defense as they can possibly get their hands on, because it reduces the chance of them being hit in combat. So like having a huge health pool isn't really that useful if your character gets hit every single time something takes a swing at them, because that health pool is just going to disappear, unless they've got regen. I would rather have a low health pool on a character, or a lower health pool on a character, in favour of having a very high melee defense. Because if nothing can hit them in combat in the first place, then it doesn't matter for shit how much health they do or don't have. So I'm a big fan of just making my characters as tough as I possibly can, and in order of things, I usually go melee defense first, physical resistance and ward save I try and keep roughly equal. It depends on the character, depends on the faction, depends on what you're fighting. Physical resistance stops things like arrows and bullets and blows from swords. Yeah, see, we got him massively overpowered now. So, well, not massively, but most of the strength that he had was in his army, and we've just shattered it. Right, so him running off to hide it and work bad was a really dumb decision. Okay, so what he's doing now is he's sending splinter forces into our territory to try and distract us. What we'll do is we'll respond to that by sending Rupert Hellborg, or whatever the bloody hell his name is. He's going to go back and deal with our territory, whilst Elspeth presses on into Vlad's territory and keeps the pressure on him. But before we do either of those things, Now, you want to be really careful fighting Tzeentch and Tzeentchian factions. So even if it's, or even undivided factions that have Tzeentchian influence. So if, when you're fighting, let's say, Daniel the Demon Prince, and he comes at you and he's got feathers, watch the F out. Because that means he's got a Tzeentchian corruption, like Tzeentchian influence. Now, the big thing about Tzeentchian influence is that it unlocks a teleporting ambush stance for them. They can literally teleport onto your army and ambush it. They can cross unfriendly territory, they can bypass cities, they can even go well, they can just like teleport around. I'm just going to roll this. They can teleport around impassable terrain. And then they can land on your army in an unblockable ambush. There is not a goddamn thing that you can do to reduce that in any way, shape, or form. Ambush defense chance does not count. The only thing you can do to stop them doing the teleport ambush drop on you is either to be out of their range of them doing it in the first place, or to be inside a city. They can't do it to you if you're in a settlement. It doesn't even have to be a city, I beg your pardon. Any settlement will do. Putting your characters in camp stance doesn't do a damn thing. Okay, so the Tzeentchian cult that is in Flensburg is a negative cult, so I'm going to bulldoze it. Tzeentchian cults can be negative or positive. Sometimes they set you up and make you better so that they can leech more off you. And other times they're working to undermine you. I generally just destroy them anyway, because I don't like giving Chaos a friggin' inch. But at this point in the game, because our money's so low, if that had been adding money to us in any way, shape, or form, I probably would have left it for a few turns. I also didn't realise that this guy had gone pinging off here because of my own inattention, so he's probably going to sack Flensburg, but that's okay, we'll just have to deal with that. That's my bad. I wasn't paying attention. Too busy flapping my jaws. Just keeping an eye on these guys, because Vlad could pop up in either of these armies. I don't think he will. I reckon it's more likely that Vlad will respawn himself back over here somewhere and try and pick up a decent army while he sends these guys out to harass us. Okay, so there's the next part of the quest for Ulrika Magdova. We've got to get a treasury of 15 grand, and then we'll get the opportunity to recruit her. We don't actually have to pay that 15 grand to recruit her. They just want us to have it. I don't know, it's a bit weird. I'm going to give the potion of healing to Elspeth because she could use it in the next battle to recover some health, but also the potion of healing gives you increased battle healing cap plus 15%. So when I come across here and get this skill point for her and she gets her passive regen, she'll be able to regen more health in the battle. And in the meantime, I've stripped the banner of regen off the captain, and I've given it to her instead, just so that we can get her back to full health if we have to fight again before she has returned to full health through replenishment. And we'll see how that goes. So Rupert's going to come back around here, and he is going to take care of our territory, while Elspeth is going to knock him on the head, and then we'll probably cut down here to Averheim, grab that, then we'll probably pop up there to Needling, over into Obersteyr, Tempelhof, Waldenhof, Eschen, Drakenhof, and then we'll pop out the other side at Schwarzhafen, having destroyed all of the vampire counts. That is the plan. We will see how it goes. For now, let me just do a quick look at diplomacy. You really should do diplomacy at the start of your turn, as I constantly keep saying, but that was actually something I discovered through another YouTuber somewhat later in my Warhammer career, and it's been a really difficult thing to unlearn for me. Is that I usually save my diplomacy until the end of the term when I'm finished kicking the ever-loving crap out of, oh my god, we can confederate with Midland. Yeah. That is an absolute coup. Absolute coup. Ha! We would have been one turn away, I reckon, from Karl Franz doing that exact thing. We got the entire province in one fell swoop. Just need to repair something. I can even put that building in there to trigger the quest for, what's his name? Theodor Bruckner. So I'll do that. We can upgrade that, and that takes care of the other thing that we have to do for the gunnery school, and we already get Boris Todbringer. Now, Todbringer is interesting in that you will note up here, he does not have a talent point for immortality. He is immortal by default. He also starts the game with a weapon called the Middenland Runefang that does all of that stuff. The most important thing, I think, eh, eh. Come on. Is that? It's a sword that gives regen. So because we're not going to be using him for a fight anytime soon, I'm going to strip him of all of his gear. What are his talent points in? Yeah, that's serviceable. That's fine. We don't have to strip his talent points out. I'm just going to chuck him in there for now and basically completely ignore him because we're not going to be using him for a little bit. I am going to give the Midland Runefang to our Empire Captain along with the White Cloak of Ulrich, and I will give him the... Yep, why not? Give him a bit of extra spell resistance, and the fire resistance will help preserve his regeneration if we run into anything with flaming attacks, because flaming attacks undo some of the effectiveness of regen. Vampires hate fire, yo. Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. That was my bad. I literally did not even see that army standing there until it was too late because I was too busy talking. Now, it's going to be annoying because they're going to go back into bloody undetectable ambushy stancy thing, which is a thing that Tzeentch cultists can, Tzeentch armies can do when they've got a... Well, the Changelings armies can do when they've got a cult in the region. So they probably just stuck another cult back in Flensburg. So I've basically just bought myself another 2 or 3 turns of headache dealing with that idiot. Yeah, okay, whatever. I haven't spent any money here. Well, I built a thing to recruit a hero, and we've already got the hero, so if that gets taken now, I really don't care. Oh, they're going to go in for Wissenberg. That's annoying. I don't reckon I can win that. We don't have any defences on the settlement yet. Yeah, nah, not with the Strigoi as well. Could definitely just take that. We could even take that and that if he wasn't there. Yeah, I don't think it's likely that we're going to be able to take that on. We're not going to have enough ammunition and half the army's swordsmen. Yeah, no, that's alright. That's okay. No big deal. As long as we haven't lost a capital, doesn't really matter. It was only a tier 2 model settlement, and they haven't even taken it. They've just sacked it. Which is also a good sign, because if they were feeling super confident, they would have taken it and sat on it and resurrected an army and re-recruited, you know, higher tier units there if they could have. So that probably means that they're running a bit short of cash, which is good. Because it means they're not just going to keep ripping armies out of the ground ad nauseum. I'm going to march him around there, because he can easily take those on if they attack. This idiot's only got himself left now. Good job. Yeah, so they wiped out half their own army just making that attack, the dummies. Yeah, so that was really my bad with the Tzeentchian guys, because now I'm going to have to stuff around to try and get them out of there, unless I just do this and peace out with them for now. I'm not going to take the piece for now. Bugger! Alright, we'll just watch that space, but can't afford to sit here nursing that half Tzeentchian stack, so I'm just going to go for it. If necessary, we'll have him loop back around and deal with them in a bit. They're not going to be able to do a hell of a lot of damage to us. They won't be able to threaten our capital city or anything. It's just going to be minor annoyances. So that's fine. Alright, now I do want to keep this territory, but Aveland is still alive. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sack this, get some cash out. Thank you, the Averheim ATM. Then I'm going to occupy it. Then I'm going to repair that building, and the next turn I'm going to sell it to these idiots for a ton of cash. And then, hopefully, when the Confederation penalty wears off, you can only confederate one faction every so often. It's like 5 turns, I think. There are, as always, exceptions to the rule with different factions and stuff. But just plain old bog standard confederation through diplomacy, you can only do that. You can only acquire one faction every 5 turns as the Empire. In fact, I think it's 5 turns for most factions from memory. Again, not all. And there are plenty of factions that have different mechanics for confederation. Like dwarves, for example, it's just like a thing. That, once you've settled more grudges than the other guy, you can open the book of grudges and press the button, and boom, they're yours. With orcs and goblins and ogres, you just got to find the enemy faction leader with your faction leader and bonk them on the head and just beat them in combat just once, and that's it, they're yours if you want them. They'll confederate with you lock, stock, and barrel. I got a spare engineer here, that's pretty cool. What's he got? Sapper, speed. Great. Love speed on engineers. He can go and join Toddbringer. I'm going to start sort of skulking Toddbringer down here. I just don't like him being up there that close to a bloody Nurgle army. As soon as these two are fully upgraded, I'll yank one of them and put walls in there. But I need them both to tier 3 for various quests at the moment, so it's good that they were both already there at tier 2. Alright, I'm going to send this guy sprinting out this way. Try and figure out where Vlad's respawned and what he's up to. So these cities, these don't matter so much. We can use these as a bit of a battleground. The only one we really super need to protect at the moment is Nuln. If we lose Nuln, we are in serious trouble. So let's not do that. Doesn't even really matter if we lose Faldorf at the moment. Nuln is what we need to protect. Alright, I got a ton of these. Well, a ton, but a few. I'll upgrade that because we haven't done that one yet. Don't have any of those. There's no point in doing that. Likewise, those two, so they can both screw off for now. What do we have the most of? Well, they'd be the next thing we've got the most of, so let's do that. And then we've got some spares, so let's do... How many more do I need to do for the thing? One more. Yeah, sure. Stalk for mortar units. That sounds fun. Great, why not? Alright, so that's that. So now all we need to do is wait for that thing to finish building in that city where it's building. So that's what, 2 turns, 3 turns? 2 turns? Sweet. And then we can upgrade the gunnery. Well, the gunnery school will be upgraded to the next level automatically. Not bad by turn 27, that'll be. Not too bad at all, getting that to tier 3. Alright, and in the meantime, I'm going to try and avoid spending as much cash as possible because I would like to get Ulrika as soon as, because the sooner I can get her, the sooner I can start leveling her up and actually making her a really kick-ass character. Ulrika's only real drawback is that she burns through ammunition like you would not believe. She will deplete her ammo so quickly. But that's okay. That's very much negated on the Empire front, especially when you're playing Elspeth, because you've got bloody engineers with restock, and pistoliers with restock, and handgunners with restock, and engineer lords with restock. You've got restocks coming out your ears. So Elspeth's a really good faction to have Ulrika with, actually. I question her usefulness to the dwarves. Well, no, actually that's not fair. What I should say is, it's a bit annoying playing with her as the dwarves, because you've got very little capacity for topping up her magic. So it's really hard to make her a super spellcaster when you're playing as dwarves. Here we go, they're bloody playing. Yeah, they're going to make a nuisance of themselves. That's alright, we've got Rupert. He can handle these idiots. We're all papped. He can handle these idiots right after we curb stomp. Oh, actually, that might have a little bit, that rebellion might have a little bit too much in it at the moment for him to just roll up and slap in the chops. So that's okay. We'll play this the cheap way, and we'll go into ambush stance and get between him and the city. So that when this thing moves in to attack the city, hopefully we ambush it with ourselves and the city garrison. These guys are probably going to go over here to Fort Sol, but I don't really care about that, to be honest with you. Is there any way you'd join my war against Vlad? You hate him? Yeah, no, I might be able to make that work if I joined his war against the other guy, but I'm not that desperate, because that would mean another enemy, which I don't really want at this point in particular time. Alright, so those guys are pushing hard into our territory because they're trying to stop us pushing hard into their territory. Now, we could take the bait and go back this way and get in there, and that would be probably a bit of alright, but we're not going to do that. We are going to go this way. Oh, actually, let me just quickly check. No. Okay, just keeping an eye on the deceivers. I don't want them to pop up and ambush me if I can possibly avoid it, but I really did dig my own grave with that one. Too busy flapping my jaws. We're doing a pretty good job of running out of money as well, so I might actually take this guy. I'll bring the engineer this way. And I'm just going to respec Boris Toddbringer. Just because it gets him off the field for 3 turns. I don't have to pay an extra supply line. And I don't have to worry about him getting trapped somewhere. I mean, he's already immortal, but 3 turns of him being out is still better than 5 turns of him being out if he got attacked and wounded. Do I want to spend anything? Nah, probably not, eh? Keep saving for now. Oh, yep. Get a bit of trade agreement happening in Cathay. A little bit of extra gold, but it'll open up some other diplomatic channels, so hopefully in a few turns they'll go for something. That will do for now. That'll do for now. Don't have a ton of schematics to spend, but that thing will be ready next turn. Yes, good. Midland's currently our biggest earner. I'm not surprised, being a four settlement province. Alright, spin on. Really? Making a liar out of me? Okay, that's alright. Because this will give me the opportunity to complete a quest anyway. And it'll show you the other thing that the Gardens of Maul can do. Which I told you about, but you haven't seen yet. Alrighty, where are you off to? Yeah, heading for Fort Sol, that's fine, I don't care if I take that. Or they could just suck and die. Yep, alright, suck and die. Good job. Well done, Vampire Team. Yep, gonna go for round 2, really. Okay, suck and die again. Idiots. What are you doing? One does wonder. Right, where did Vlad just scurry off to? Now, hopefully Rambit Von Donkey Face here will just get deleted before our turn even hits. What, do you want Evelyn? Nope. No defensive alliance for you. I want them nice and weak and desperate, so that once we've finished using them to curb stomp Vlad, we can absorb them. Cool, bunch of missions, successful stuff. Yep, well done, great. And I think the next stage of the Theodore Bruckner quest is just to kill a bunch of stuff with cavalry, if I'm remembering correctly. Yep, 1,000 enemy units with melee cavalry or demigriff units. Cool, that's another thing from the gunnery school. That's a unique Elspeth Von Draken item that she ironically cannot equip herself, because she is not, in fact, an engineer. But old mate here can. There we go, enhanced scope, thank you very much. Anything in there I need? Oh yeah, in case he gets wounded, that'll be handy. Oh yeah, a bit of extra money, that'll be handy. Why not? Why not, indeed? Yeah, get a bit of that, get a bit of that. Yep, controls good, controls good. Cool, where are you, Mr. Hellborg? Here you are. Okay, that was weird. There's like, yeah, that'll happen sometimes. It just like completely ignored the fact that my army was there in ambush. But that's cool, whatever. End result, the same. Career splat. Alrighty, money's looking a little bit better. Can we just like... okay, no. I was going to teleport Elspeth back to deal with that using the Gardens of Maul, but as it turns out, the garrison can roll it. So that's fun. Yeah, you better bugger off. Alright, does that actually leave anything of the Deceivers? Are they willing to make peace now? No, they're not. Despite being pretty much non-existent. The Changeling doesn't have any settlements for themselves. They can only set up camps in... cults in other faction cities. They're like a leech faction. They're cool. They're fun to play. But yeah, they're a bit of a weird presence on the AI. They're a bit of a weird presence as the AI on the campaign, because they lose once and then like they're just completely irrelevant for the rest of the campaign. But they can also go that whole time without getting wiped out. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. Oh yeah, that's a pretty penny. I'll have a bit of that, thank you. Cool, that gives us enough money for Ulrika, so that quest should pop any second. There we go. Big tick, and I will unlock her. You can assassinate her. I don't know why you want to do that. But it does give some pretty good bonuses, though. But no, I'd much prefer to have the legendary hero, thank you. There she is, Ulrika Magdava. She is a bit of a badass. So now I need to free up 2 spots in this army to put in Ulrika and Philip Udriker. Udrik, what an awkward name. Alright, so next turn, the top of next turn, I will dismiss that unit and chuck those 2 in instead. That will be a much stronger army for it. Especially once those 2 characters start getting some XP on them. Because they're both casters, they'll also give more available Winds of Magic to the army, which means that all of the casters in the army have more resources to work with. So Elspeth can chuck around more Death Magic, the healer can chuck more heals, or Ulrika Magdova can use more Shadow Magic. And I'm a big fan of Shadow Magic. It's got some really good spells in it. In my opinion, it's got the best tier 1 spell in the whole game. Bar none. Melchioth's Mystifying Miasma. This thing. You can't miss with it, because it just applies to a unit. And it does mad damage to, like repeatedly casting it, just so you hit them with it once, hit them with it again, hit them with it again, hit them with it again, and they're gone. Works against cavalry. The only thing it doesn't really work very well against is anything that's under 25 models in a unit, so it's pretty useless against single target entities and stuff like that, but, yeah, it's hell on wheels for infantry and cavalry and big units of monsters and flyers and all that sort of stuff. It's really good. Love Melchioth's Mystifying Miasma, and the big flashy School of Shadow spell, the Pit of Shades, looks freaking sick. The graphical thing for it is amazing, but it also is a bloody good spell. Like, it ships out damage. It's crazy. Cool. Oh, we got Theodore Bruckner as well in one turn, so there's our 1,000 kills with melee. Far out. Okay, that was crazy. So, need to get rid of something else in this army to put in there. Probably a mortar at this stage, I reckon. Now, he can move this turn, and she can move this turn, so we can actually get rid of 2 of those this turn. So I'll get rid of that and that. Because the sooner I get that Regiment of Renown unit dismissed, the sooner I can re-recruit it again in an emergency if I need it. Cool. Bruckner can go in, Ulrika can go in. That's not bad. All of those characters and stuff unlocked by turn 27, I'll take that. Now, can we get Gotrek and Felix? Yeah, we can. Cool. But the quest for that is a bit of a pain in the ass. And I'll need a pretty particular army for taking it on, because you've got to keep Gotrek and Felix alive, and they're both only level 1. And the enemy absolutely guns for them. So yeah, it's not a hard battle. It's just there's a trick to it. And the trick to it is take something that can heal Gotrek and Felix. So I need to get the healer up a little bit before he's up to that task. But as soon as that happens, we'll go and get Gotrek and Felix as well. They're pretty sick. I do like them. Alright, I'll just build some money in there. I'll put some control in there, so we don't have to deal with a rebellion too soon. I think I saw another rebellion about to go off. Yeah, in our main thing, because that got sacked. That's okay. We've got walls on that, and we've got a lord here that can just sprint back over there and deal with that in a few turns. So that's all good. This glowy jazz here is the Nemesis Crown. Not something I particularly want as Elspeth, but I will probably try and go and fight the battle to seal it, because I really don't want Vlad getting it. That'd be really bad. Really, 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 really bad. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there for today. I think that's a pretty bloody good few turns. We've made some serious progress and gained quite a lot of ground. And had some pretty good fortunate stuff happen in the meantime. So thank you for watching. As always, please leave any thoughts or comments below. I really appreciate the time you've taken to watch this, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care, everyone.